In the fall of 1994, 30 years ago, after having released this record the year before, Plastikman, aka Ripshy Houghton, decided to make his second album, and the name of the album is Musik. Now, Musik is a crazy album because it was a follow-up to a very successful album that was unique for so many reasons. Some of the reasons were, let's just say, the album itself was used as a medium to induce a certain state of mind, and that was kind of happening at the time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look into it. And the whole acid house scene in the 90s was basically something, I'm calling this acid house because this is basically hypnotic acid music. And the whole thing about Plastikman was that it was almost like you could listen to it at home or you could listen to it in the club or whatever. And like, it was very deep and also very technical and also very hypnotic. And so these ideas are ideas that still pervade in dance music, but when you think about 30 years ago, this was already kind of like super avant-garde. These records are some of the most iconic records in dance music. And so what I want to do today, for educational purposes only, is to do a remix to make a celebration for the 30-year anniversary of the album called Musik. Now, the album has many songs on them, but if you don't know of the album, I created a Spotify playlist that you can get to in the description. The idea here is to be inspired, definitely use the sounds that I pick up from the album only, mostly. I'll add a couple extra things just to make it more modern, but make a remix using elements from throughout the album to create something new that's relevant in 2024. So you guys, let's get into it. The elements that I decided to take basically are here, and I've created a clean loop of all of them so you can hear them, and then we can go through what I've done to them. Basically, I'll start with the kick. The kick is massive, and that's a kick off of the album, and all I've done is I added a little bit of compression, and I've taken off a little bit of the low end here so that it's not too humming, but that's basically all that's happening with the kick. On the snare, I have a similar thing going on that I'm cutting the low frequencies. Going forward, one of the coolest sounds I picked up was this perk kind of loop. Again, it sounds really modern, so think about how cool 30-year-old music that holds up to nowadays. Can you think of other 30-year-old music that still holds up to nowadays? Comment. All right, guys. And, well, of course, yeah, Pink Floyd or whatever, yeah. But, think about it, though. All right, keep going. More perk. You can't really hear this right now because I have it filtered down. Let me open it up. Okay, so that's the perk. We have the, okay, here is probably the most iconic sound that instantly takes you into Plastikman territory. So let's hear that. I mean, that is exactly what kind of vibe and sound was happening at the time with these albums. And I took this off a longer line, but I'm going to only use that single attack hit, and that'll play in the song. Here you get something different. So I really like that bow, 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 bow. I really think that's super cool, but I don't feel like using that. What I want to do is I'm going to take that same line and rewrite it out, add a different sound to it, and make it more modern, bring it into 2024. So on the bass, I didn't want to use the exact same sound that he used, also because it's kind of muddied up by the other percussive elements. So I rewrote it out myself and I programmed it into a different synth. So basically it's going to sound more beefy and more modern. That's what this is. And then I've doubled that with a lower bass still, so it's really powerful on the low end. So moving into the next sound, the things that I added that are kind of more my own and not from the records themselves are a kind of rim and clap with a lot of reverb on them. That would be this. That's super Plastikman-y. I'm referencing his style, but I'm using my own sounds. And then closed hats to just tie everything together. There is a vocal that I did myself that is part of again, the style of what was happening at the time with like, even like people like Josh Wink with Higher States of Consciousness, this kind of thing here.
Acid.
What you'll see as I lay it all out is I've spent a few hours kind of coming up with the arrangement. And now what I'd like to do is play for you guys. And as I play for you, I'll highlight some of the things that are happening so that the song can kind of make sense to people who maybe have less experience understanding how to make a remix or what that would look like played out in a DAW. thank you guys for listening to that. You know, these guys, Plastikman, Aphex Twin, these have been idols of mine forever, and I'm only giving them respect and, how do I say, like a homage or something like that, because basically these guys are the goats, and being able to sample this today and provide you with a sort of input as to how to go through making a remix and kind of figure out also, you know, what parts to take, what to do with them, that kind of stuff. I did this to, again, I'm saying it, educational purposes. If you guys are into music like this, but you don't know the past, it's so cool to look into it because there's so much great music that came from back in the day. And I'm not only like this old guy who says like, oh, the music's better in the past. No, the music's great today, but there were some really great albums in the past, and this is one of them. So thank you guys for coming along with me as I remixed a 30-year-old album and did it to give you guys a glimpse into one of the best artists in electronic music. Anyway, guys, thank you always. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video, and peace.